the voice of the Montreal Canadiens, Victor Findlay. Victor, what's going on, man?
Hey, things are good. Just wrapping up the morning skate today at the Bell Center. So there's definitely a buzz around here today. I think a lot of people are really excited to get this event going here later tonight.
Nice practice. I guess just watching, like I was watching the footage yesterday coming in from the South Shore from Complex Sportif CNN, and just watching a power play of Makar and Reinhardt, McKinnon, McDavid, and Crosby. And I'm thinking to myself, that's ridiculous. But I'm also envisioning that the Swedes, Finns, and Americans are going to throw out four pretty good players to try to kill that penalty. So it's nice to see. I know it's not a best on best because not every country is represented, but I think it's a nice step in the right direction here for the National Hockey League.
Oh, for sure it is. There's no doubt about that. And I think the biggest indication of that is the excitement that you can see with the players. And I can't stress that enough, like how excited these guys seem to be a part of this because of how big it feels. Forget the fact that there's not a gold medal at the end of the road here for either side. This is not the Olympics. You know, this is maybe not the most prestigious tournament that they've ever played in by a long stretch. But when you look around the dressing room and you see that you're surrounded by the best players to suit up for your country, that demands a certain requirement. You know, out of you, it demands a standard, and I think the players realize that they haven't. Some of them have never had an opportunity quite like this to go best on best against USA or Canada, Sweden, Finland, whatever it is. So I think the players themselves are just so psyched up to have an opportunity like this, to be a part of something unique that we haven't seen in years. And I think for that reason, we are going to see intense hockey on the ice. And I think this is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Vic, what did you see from practice today in terms of, lineups, and obviously we saw the whole Jordan Binnington thing. What's your kind of stance on how tonight will go against Sweden?
Yeah, as far as what to expect out of the actual game, like it's really hard, man, for me to give you a great picture, a great idea as to what the game is going to look like, because we haven't seen anything like this in so long. I think these teams will get better as they go along, and I'm interested to see if these lineups kind of stick, or if or how long it takes for some of these coaches to start juggling and trying to find chemistry. So I don't know. It's for me that's a tough one to answer, because I think no matter what, it's going to be pretty exciting. But I don't really know if we're going to get a wide open, fast paced, back and forth game, or if it's going to be a little bit tighter defensively for both of these teams tonight. So I think that adds to part of the intrigue as well, with everybody involved, whether it's players or coaches, media, fans. Like I don't think we precisely know exactly what we're going to see on the ice tonight, apart from obviously the players and them being the best in the world. But in terms of what the actual game looks like, I think is still a bit of a mystery for a lot of people, including myself.
Yeah, it should be fun. I said this tournament's really going to kick off on Saturday night at some point with one of the Kachuk boys tries to put Sidney Crosby through the boards, and then it's going to be on, Victor. Victor, just get back to the Habs here for a second. Is there anybody in the National Hockey League that could have used more of a break than Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield? And Lane Hudson?
Yeah, well, there's probably a few teams that are feeling like they could have had some time off here. To be honest with you, I think the entire Habs team, it feels like the timing is right for a bit of a break. We'll see how things kind of shape up for them coming back with the 6 games before the trade deadline. So it's with 26, I believe, games left to go in the regular season. You come back out of this, and it's pretty much time to hit the ground running right as soon as they get back. So I think after the way, though, the schedule has been set up, in particular the last month and a half, 2 months for them, that's a good week and a half. I think it's about 10 days between. Actually, they get a little less than that, to be honest with you. I think they get about 8 days or so, and then they'll be back at practice for 4 or so days next week, leading up to the first game on the other side of it. So I think the break, if anything, guys, mentally will be good for this team, just to get away from the game, to get away from maybe the pressures of playing in Montreal and going through that daily grind. I think that'll be good for a lot of players. But on the other side too, Lane Hutson, right? Like we talk about a guy that needs a break. Well, he loves hockey, so what does he do? The first day off, he goes to the Bean Pot and goes there with Macklin Celebrini to see his old guys at Boston University win the Bean Pot on Monday night against Boston College. So for some of these guys, maybe I'm included in this too because I'm not calling the games tonight. I'm on break here. I had an option to be on a beach in Aruba, I guess, if I wanted to be. But some guys like me, just rink rats, we'd rather be at the ice rink as much as possible. And I think Lane Hutson kind of comes from that same cloth a little bit.
Victor, are you going to be the consummate professional, or are you going to paint the face half red, half white?
You know what? It's I'm kind of roaming undercover here a little bit with everybody. This is a really unique event in terms of the media, and I did the draft for the first time in the summer, and there were hundreds of media personnel there, but it's so international for this with the Swedes and the Finns that there's not really another event on the calendar other than the Olympics where you would get so much Swedish or Finnish media. So I've been mixing and mingling a little bit this morning, actually a lot this morning with international media too, which has been a lot of fun for me. So although the Swedes keep asking me why there's such a poor track record of Swedish players with the Montreal Canadiens, and I got no answer for that. So we need to fix that here sometime soon.
Vic, were you surprised, as many others were, that Jordan Binnington got the nod for tonight's game?
No, I wasn't. I think just the track record he has with Hockey Canada has played the biggest role here in him being the starter for this game tonight. And, I don't think by any stretch, though, the fact that he's getting the start tonight at Four Nations Faceoff to kick it off means that he's going to be the guy for the Olympics in a few years. And as big as this tournament is, this is, in a lot of ways, an audition for the Olympic Games. So I think when you look at how Canada's roster could potentially pan out for Italy 2026, Binnington is going to be in that conversation. And this is a great opportunity for Hockey Canada to get more intel on him and see how he reacts to playing best on best in, I would say, a fairly intense situation. This might not be as intense as an Olympic Games, but it's definitely going to be up there. So while I think it's important for sure, they're trying to get this lineup set up in a position that gives them the best chance to win, but it's also in the back of a lot of people's minds here. Okay, what are we looking at for Olympics in 2026? So, he was always going to be in that conversation, and I think they want to give him an opportunity here too at this tournament specifically to see what he can do best on best, backstopping Team Canada.
Victor, is there a line combination that you're looking forward to seeing the most from Canada, and perhaps a matchup between Canada's lineup here or lineup there, like something intriguing, like, I don't know, trying to think of a good one. Matthews and Marner going on it on a Saturday night.
Yeah, Pettersson versus JT Miller. USA might
how can I forget that one? Yes.
That could be an interesting
That's hockey's
matchup.
Version of Kendrick Lamar and Drake.
That's right. There might be one here that kind of boils over that we don't even really know about, and then it just kind of manifests itself here on the ice. I think the popular choice for that for a lot of people would be seeing what the Kachucks do to get underneath somebody's skin. And, so I'm interested to see the game within the game that we talk about so often, right? And how that looks with all four of these countries and these teams. But as far as line combos and maybe duos in particular, I'm excited to see Sidney Crosby and Nate McKinnon on the ice at the same time. For me, that's going to be fun to watch. So many guys, to be honest with you. It's not so much about the combos for me, just as it is the players themselves as individuals. And one thing I love about, getting to call Habs games here in Montreal is that throughout the course of the season, we see every team. We're going to see pretty much all the best players in the world here at least once at the Bell Center. Well, now we get to see a good chunk of them every game here for the rest of the week in Montreal. So it's always, I always enjoy doing that, whether it's Tampa Bay coming in and, unfortunately we didn't get to see Kucherov here on Sunday. But that's kind of a guy that you keep your eyes on, whether it's in warm up or throughout the course of the game, just to see what he does, what his habits are, and now there's 30 guys right on any given night that I'm trying to kind of watch and keep my eyes on. So I'm interested to see who looks really good among the best. Because I think there's the obvious choices: McKinnon, Crosby, McDavid, Matthews or Eichel. But I wonder if there's somebody else deeper in these teams' lineups that might really show up. We talk about so often how a player like Jesper Bratt, who might be a 100-point guy for New Jersey, is one of the most underrated players in the National Hockey League. I wonder if there's a guy like that steps up and the cream kind of rises to the top, so to speak, and maybe someone that surprises us a little bit with just how good they look among the rest of the best players in the world.